And shows.
He might not.
Fishing.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 16. Episode 16 has been brought to you by At Device. HMH has been sponsored by. Fucking, I'll fuck that all up. At Device was brought to you by HMH. HMH is one of our sponsors. HMH has been making fly tying vices, tying tools, tube fly material since 1975. Located in Biddeford, Maine. The products are not only made in the U.S., but all the vice parts are made in the state of Maine. All HMH products are hand assembled by a small team of not only fly tyers, but registered Maine fishing guides. These guys know what works. All their products can be seen at tyingvice.com or ask your favorite fly tying shop to get HMH.
Show's also brought to you by Midwest Bucktail. Use code ATV10 for your 10% discount starting tonight until Sunday at 12 a.m. MidwestBucktail.com for all your online bucktail needs.
And today's guest is Aaron. So, Aaron, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit, let us know what you do, and all that goody stuff.
Well, my name's Aaron Latira. I own American Tide Flies. I make a lot of custom dubbings and stuff. Big bait fish pattern type things. They use them in. I mean, I ship it all around the world. I got shops over here in the United States. They carry it too. Um, I mean, I guess that's what it was. I got started doing that. Making dubbings, and then easy. I got like more and more and more, and I have like right now I have like hundreds and hundreds of options in either real fine stuff, natural, synthetic. I do it all, and I've been doing it since it's been a while. I've been I think maybe since like 2015 or 16. I used to do flies, and I got more into like dubbings and materials, and basically right now it's all materials almost. I mean, I tie very few flies. I mean, I tie some for myself, but like I don't tie like I used to.
Okay. Okay. Kids, family, any other hobbies besides making materials for everybody to
Oh
use?
yeah, I have two little girls. I have a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old, and then a wife, and we got a dog too, a little the
What?
Cavalier and a poodle. she's like
Oh.
Oh,
she's like 9, almost 10 pounds. That's as big as she'll ever be.
Oh, okay, okay. That's a nice little dog, right?
Yeah, she's like a person. You sit down or you pass out on the couch or something, and you feel like this little furry neck laying on your neck. I was like, what the? Yeah, it's probably the nicest dog we've ever had.
That's
She's real
pretty
calm.
awesome. So, with your dubbing, like, I came across it. Well, Dave is not here tonight because Dave had other obligations he had to attend to.
Yes.
But we were actually tying at, I believe, the Marlboro show.
Yeah.
And a lot of my streamer patterns, I would use other dubbings that were
Yeah.
fairly long. And he's like, dude, have you ever used like Magnum dubbing? And I'm like, no. He's like, bro, check this out. And he brings out like a whole bin, and it's like every color you make.
Yeah.
And
He bought.
he's a junkie. As soon as he sees new material, he buys like every color there is.
Oh yeah.
And
He's. I've known him for a while. Like he's been buying off me for like it's been quite. I mean, probably maybe 4 or 5 years at least. And so he's and then when I do stuff, like if I come out with some new stuff, like I'll get an order and I'll see like he's got one of every color of the stuff. Like that carnivore dove that I come out with, as soon as I put it on the website, I had an order come in and he had like made of it.
yeah. So he has this big bin, and I start going through it, and I start blending different things, and all of a sudden I have these like maybe a half a dozen flies on my table that I tied at the show, and people are coming up to me. They're like, "Are these for sale?" I'm like, "Sure, if you want to buy them." They're like, how did you make this?" They said, "It's dubbing." They're like, "Can you show us?" And I'm like, "It's not my dubbing, first of all, okay? So 50% of this proceeds gonna have to go to him." And
Yeah.
but you can make little cool little patterns. Like I have a little you could call this little baby rainbow or steelhead,
Yeah.
um, and they make a nice little profile. And that's the little guy. This is the big guy or little shad. You could compare them in sizes there. So
Yeah.
you can make them smaller, bigger, go on a bigger hook, or you can make just make a little head on top of your stuff. And people say these look like birds, but there's a reason why
Yeah.
they look like that. You got a little
Yeah.
baby brown trout, and you could add a little blue cheek to it because you got that steely blue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then if he's got a little pink, so you could do like a real rainbow trout. It's got like a
Yes.
little pink in there and brown and a little bit of everything. So the opportunities are endless. I even use them for bigger, like pike flies, for guys like this, but on steroids. Uh, and guys
Yeah.
really like them in these. So that's how I got introduced to it, and now I just I can't stop tying with it. I love bucktail, but I would say bucktail in your dubbing is some of the best stuff and the stuff that I use the most out of anything
Mm.
because of what you could do with it and how you could manipulate it and what it does in the water. Joe, have you ever fished my BS fly when we were doing smallie fishing?
I'm not sure. Might have.
It's like the articulated dumbbell eye one. I don't know if I have it.
Check it out. You got some cool ass colors. I like that RSBV.
You know what? Yeah, that's it's it's a good color. I think that I like it because it's got like and some of the like the fibers in it. Like if you hit them with the UV light, that's a lot. And that's what's funny too. It's not just like uh, one dimensional. A lot of the stuff that I do, I purposely do too. Like I have like some of like the stuff like the reds and some of the like the neon colors. When they're blended in the dubbings, if you hit it with a black light or that, some of that is actually UV and it like it puts. I
Yeah.
mean, they're bright, and I
The
like to put some UV stuff into there.
my favorite one by far, and I will say this, Joe, if you get to pick it up, the garbage pickle. The garbage pickle is my like favorite.
Color or type of dubbing?
The color combination because it's got like if you're doing like peanut bunker imitations, it's got enough blacks in it. It's got enough like dark greens and regular green, and it's phenomenal. The other one that I really like is what's that? Fat cat? Is it the fat
Fat
cat?
Cat Brown, yeah, yes,
Fat
the
cat
Fat Cat
brown.
Brown.
That one's awesome too. It's
That
like
one, yeah,
it's like what's it? Garfield, like straight
yeah.
up like Garfield colors.
And that one was funny because that one, there's a guy, Stanley Taylor. He doesn't tie as much anymore, but he's up from New York. He does like, he used to do a lot of bucktails, like poppers, bass, like almost like Cohen does with the stacked heads and all the stuff like that, stacked deer hair, and and he wanted to do like a brown trout. So he said, and his company at the time was called Fat Cat Flies. So he said, "Can you make me this color? I want to use it on the brown trout belly." So I called it Fat Cat Brown. So it's like because people get it and they're like, "Oh, this isn't brown." I'm like, "It's not supposed to be. It's like it's supposed to be the
Yeah,
belly of a brown trout." So Fat Cat Brown.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then uh, Joe, he was saying about the RSBV you like. That's a funny story too. That was like a ball busting thing. Okay,
Yeah.
a guy I know, he's a good guy. I fished with him. He's from Ohio, and I created a color, and I wanted to make it a good color, and then I wanted to get it picked up by people too, so I could. And we have a thing going back and forth, like I bust balls with the RSBV stands for, and it goes back but like it's. I mean, you want to hear what it is, or is it like, it's a little bit messed up.
Go.
RSBV. So I busted his balls because there was a guy, did a tying video, like he doesn't tie as much anymore, and it was like this guy filmed it, and he had like in his garage, or he has like a barn. So I was like, hey, in that barn. I said, that's probably your stolen butthole virginity. I said, that guy stole your butthole virginity. And so we called it Rob's Stolen Butthole Virginity, RSBV. And like, I didn't put it out there. And it's funny because it's on shelves, and it's like guys are tying with it in Europe. And I look at him and I said, you know what? These dudes are tying with your shame, man. And he won't put it on there. Like sometimes we'll hashtag it. Like when I make it, I'll put never for Rob, or never forget Rob, or RSBV, and like he won't say anything because then I win. I win the thing. But it's funny because I'll see it on shelves and stuff, and people have no idea what it stands for. It's just like, oh, what is that? I was like, oh, it's just letters. It's just means something. Means something to me. Acronym, yeah.
That's funny.
I like the cotton candy too. That's awesome.
The cotton candy, yeah. The cotton candy is a good color. I use that a ton, just because I don't know, I love blues and stuff, and then I like that for like especially like baitfish patterns. Like if you go, I go up when I can to fish for steelhead, and they have the emerald shiners up there, and they have that pinkish purple line that goes down their bodies. So I actually have a color like. An emerald shiner fish. It's like an emerald shiner for like the back. You put a little bit of cotton candy for the pearl for a belly, and when it gets wet, it looks just like an emerald shiner in the water. But I do that with most of the things.
How cool is this name? A homeless Care Bear.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. There's the meme is if you get a chance, you could search it up on like Google or whatever. Put like Ewok or something, homeless Care Bear Ewok. There's a picture of an Ewok, and it says Ewoks are just homeless Care Bears that sold their magic powers for drugs. And when I saw that, I was like, I have to create a color. I have to create a color for that. And when I create colors, I don't just like make anything. I just want to make sure it looked like a dirty homeless Care Bear that like was out, in the street selling his body for drugs or something.
It straight up does, and it's like a perfect like sculpin color.
Yeah,
because it's got like a little reddish, little greenish. It's just perfect for sculpins.
That's the thing. If I make something. First of all, I want it to be like funny, the name or something like that. But I want it to be something that's good color, because if it doesn't catch fish or doesn't work, he's gonna do it. I mean, I don't want to just catch someone with a name. I want something to be good. I want that, them to like, oh, that's that's funny, and then it really works. But homeless Care Bear is probably like, I send that out a ton. That's like a homeless Care Bear, like your olives, a lot of your natural colors, and then. I mean, they'll have some neons and stuff too, because but more of your natural colors like that are like, I mean, those are like your staple colors.
Yeah, and the other thing I like is I messaged you and I wanted a purple, and
yes.
I straight up just gave him like a tint of purple, and he came up with a purple, and there's like a little bits of black in here that just completely mix it with like a black and purple color. Like it's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you had it done the next day. Like it was like, no. I was like, you don't need to rush. Like it's all good. Next day it's in the mail. It's fucking on its way. So.
Well, I've done this for so long now. Like when I first started, I started out like basic colors. Like if someone says, "Hey, I would like this or that." I already have it in my head. Like I do. I mean, I've done so much now. I'm like, well, what I would do is I'd take this amount of this and this and this and see, and I mix it, and I'll do like a small sample, and then once I get the shade I want, which a lot of times I can nail it on the first or second try because I've done so many now. Once I do that, then I scale it up, and I can do it from anywhere from like whatever. I mean, I and that's another thing too. I color off me like today. 3 years later, you buy another color off me. It's not like some of these companies where stuff is going to change. You're probably going to get the same exact color that you got from me 3 years ago. You know, barring I'll always say this, barring like dyes or something, because sometimes things change and then you have to adapt to them. It just stuff it, and then you have to change stuff a little bit. I've had to do that before. I've had stuff. I had this one awesome green like dye. I can't get it anymore. Then I changed stuff. It changed it a little bit, a couple things, but not drastically. But barring like stuff getting discontinued or colors or dyes or stuff like that, I'm pretty much is consistent across the board.
Yeah, and it's not only that, but I think when you blend the stuff together, you as being a fisherman and a fly tyer in the past, and a person tells you something, you kind of what you're doing is pretty much like artwork, because you're like putting these colors together, and it just makes sense. Like it really does. Like I never thought of homeless Care Bear, of like how complex it is. I just put it on a hook, and it looks absolutely stunning in water.
Oh,
So
there's like I think there's like 5 or 6 different colors that are actually in homeless Care Bear blended to make that one shade. And then if you look at it, like there's all these different things. If you hit it with a UV light or your UV light, like your curing light, you'll see all these, like you'll see some like UV stuff. You'll see little fibers that are glow in there and stuff. It's just it's not like there's stuff out there that's just like straightforward, but like it doesn't look complex, but it is. There's actual thought that goes behind it than just me grabbing a bunch of stuff and throwing stuff together. I try to like, and as I've gone along, like I even have like I was telling you the other day, I had a guy come up to me and said, "Hey, I like this stuff. Guy wants me to tie some glow in the dark bait fish. I want this color, this color, this color." So I mix glow in the dark with the Magnum dubbing, and he sends me a picture. It's like, I mean, it glows. It's perfect. You can't even tell it's in there until you need to use it. So I mean, but that's like a niche market too, because not everybody wants glow in the dark stuff. But you know what I mean? I offer it, and that's an option too. Like if someone comes to me and say, "I need this and this," I'll try to help them out. Like
right.
even if I'm super busy, I'll still try to work stuff in. And that's what I mean. A lot of companies won't do that. I mean, I'm still small enough right now that like, if someone comes to me and say, "Hey, can you do this?" If I get a second, I'll be able to do that, or
Right.
I'll do that. And then a lot of times that helps me too, because eventually, sometimes you get like writer's block. You're like, I don't know what else to do, and give you an idea, and I'm like, hey, that's crazy. And then you get the wheels turning, and I say, okay. And then I'll create more things, and then it might even turn into like another whole line of stuff, as it goes along.
Right.
If it's really good, if I like it or something. That's happened before.
Yeah. So Zach Church said that you need to come out with Italian street taco.
Yeah. Oh. Let me tell him this here.
How's that?
Every time he puts up tacos, and I told him I'm Italian, so I told him they bust my balls because I put black olives on my tacos with my stuff, and they said that black olives don't belong on tacos, and I told them my people didn't come over here to tell you where to put my olives. I'll put them wherever I want.
Yeah. So that's funny, but no, like I was thinking, you have, and this is like Sculpin has like that yellowish, whitish belly. Do you have something in that color?
Yellowish, whitish belly.
Like almost like a cream, peach
cream.
Almost. Not
I do. I think I do have a. You know what? Like if it was like a peachy color, there's probably. I have a color fresh peach. It's like a peachy color, like the inside of a peach color. But that's probably not what you're. I mean, I don't really. I could probably create one. I know I can make one. I don't really have anything off the top of my head that I can think that is like that color.
You put a little
No.
black in there, and then you could call it the Italian street taco.
Yeah, it's Italian street taco. That's what. Oh, you know what? And it's funny. Zach Church. I created some the stuff I got. Was it Mogwai fuzz? That's like a natural and synthetic. It's really short. It's a really buggy stuff. It's not like big streamer stuff. And he had said, "Hey, you know that one color would be cool," because I made one for I made a Magnum dubbing color I called Mace, MF, and Windu, like
Yeah, I'm looking at it
Samuel
now.
L. Jackson, and I made it purple, purple and black. So, and he goes, "Hey, that would be to like the short stuff." So I created a color like that with it's like natural, synthetic, whatever. It's really, really buggy stuff. It's got squirrel in it. It's got some alpaca. It's got basically what the Magnum dubbing stuff is. It's got some flash in it, and I created it and I called it Churching It Up. That's his because Jared, whatever church. So I called it Churching Up and it created a color. He bought a. I actually liked it, so I added it. It's like I said, a lot of times colors come about like I think of so many, and then guys will come up to me. I believe Mr. Strollis, Rich Strollis, he'll shoot me messages. He's got like 4 or 5 colors I created for him already, and I liked them, and they're good stuff. I mean, he knows what he's talking about. So I put him into the thing. I put him into the lineup, and a lot of times stuff goes like that because I mean, I started out with like a handful of colors. I believe in like Magnum dubbing. I have like 70 some colors in it. I kind of went crazy, but like if I don't have it, you probably don't need it. But even if you do, I can make it.
Yeah, I mean, like I love the Magnum dubbing because I do a lot of bigger patterns, and even when you do smaller bait fish, that stuff is great. Now, if I tied a lot of like nymphs and stuff, I would definitely get the smaller stuff, but.
Yeah.
I don't tie a lot of nymphs. I don't like to fish.
Yeah,
nymphs.
see,
That's just me.
I tell a lot of guys too if they're not sure what size to get, I tell them get something bigger. Like if they want it, get the Magnum dubbing because it's easy. You can tear it, you can rip it, you can cut it down, but you can't add. You can't add size to something that's not there. I tell them always go a little bit bigger. The magic dubbing is basically the Magnum dubbing. It's like 2 inches though. I do it like 2 inches, so it's more of comparable to like a laser dub. And I'm not knocking laser dub. And Senyu's a great dude. I talk to him all the time. But the laser dub is like not always as consistent with size.
No, it's not. It's not.
It should be.
Because sometimes you'll get like a half an inch section, like a whole baggie of half an inch. Then your next baggie will be like an inch, and then the next one will be like 3 inches. It's never consistent. The only one that I've found, the only one that I found that was consistent as yours, is bruiser dubbing.
Yes.
That's the only one that's. But now they only have like dull colors. They don't have like the fancy colors. So if you want fancy colors, you go to Aaron, because he's got everything.
How much comes in a bag for the $4?
For $4, it's probably about. I think it's like a tenth of an ounce. It's pretty much. It's pretty much. But I also sell it like, if you're a tire, actually on the website, I'll even sell like I have gallon Ziploc bags. I sell it too.
You like this?
Like he has. But the commercial guys, if you're a commercial guy, I have wholesale pricing. So. Like the gallon Ziploc bags, those are ounce bags. I have commercial pricing for commercial guys. I don't turn those guys away. Anybody that wants that's a commercial guy, I'll sell it to them. I have special pricing. It's off the website. But if you're just a regular tire and say, hey, I need an ounce bag, it's available on there too. Yeah, and those are just tires, like a gallon Ziploc bag, a tires thing with a Sharpie written on it. The smaller bags are the ones that like go in the shops and that I send places, like that size.
That size, okay. That's the Magnum.
Yeah, that's
the Magnum. Yes.
Yeah, this is the steely blue. But I got like all the colors. I've gotten a shit ton from Aaron because like I like to mix shit up, and you could really like if you look at this pattern that I have here, the little baby shad. There's like 4 or 5 different colors within it. There's some blue. There's some pink, gray, white. I think I even have a little bit of purple in there. So
I've even had like guys that tie with it, and they'll ask me. They'll be like, "Hey, I buy these colors here, and in specific pattern, I hand mix this, and it makes this awesome color here." They were like, "Is there any way you could like mix that for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." And then I had the one guy. He's a guide too. He's a police officer. He's a guide. I can't remember what state. I think it might be down Connecticut.
New
But
Hampshire. New Hampshire.
yes, yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He said, "I mix this. Are you able to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I can do that." He said, "Or you could just send me this and this. I can hand mix." I said, "I got it all the time." I said, "Give me the ratio that you use." He told me I use probably about this much here. I did it, knocked it. I mean, dead on what he wanted, and I actually liked the color, so I added it. I believe it's I forget what the color. Laughing it up, because his laughing is his last name, so I called that. But it's a good color. I added it. Like I said, I don't add everything, but I add stuff that like I like. If it's a good color and if someone brought it to me, and if someone brought it, I try to actually give some kind of like thing back to them, at least some name or some reference to them or some way, just because. I mean, it wasn't totally my idea. I wouldn't have found it if for them. And then I always ask them, is that okay if I can do that? And most of the time, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Thanks and whatever."
Yeah.
But I always ask because I don't want to just like throw stuff out there. Other than RSBV, he gets a shame. He gets shame.
Do you have any?
Shame.
Do you have any light tan? I was just looking. I guess
I do.
ginger.
I have like. There's ginger is like a ginger color, and then that was actually a Strolla's color, the ginger or the RS ginger. But there's a tan too. It's just like like a light tan. It's just called tan. It's I need to actually go through condense some of that stuff because I got like 7 pages of colors on I think 7 or 8 pages of colors just through the Magnum dubbing that you have to scroll through.
Yeah, you do have a lot of Magnum, but you know what? If somebody's looking for a particular color, I mean, you got everything. Like they don't have to go looking through a lot.
Usually people will be like, "Hey, do you got something like this?" And I'm like, "Yeah," or I'll say yeah, and then I'll pull up a color or something. I'll be like, "Oh, is this what you're looking for?" Yeah. Now, occasionally someone will be like, "There's a shade of this or that," and I don't mind doing that. But most of the time, people just say, "Oh, that's what I was looking for," because I have so many right now. Like, there's not many gaps in between. Even like with the bait fish, I've had guys ask me for different bait, like alewife. Steve Uchuk from up in New York, he had requested like how many years ago for alewife, so I created an alewife. We have alewives here. They get the not the real stripers like like everybody else gets. We got the hybrid that they stock in a lake close to me, and there's alewives in the lake there. So I was like, you know what, I'll use that myself. So I'm gonna make it, and it's just a very very pale, like gray, like whitish gray.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so it matches up perfectly. It's hard to get even with like the light blocks and taking the pictures. It's hard to get a good picture of the alewife, but it's like a very very pale like. That color that they are.
Yeah, it's amazing when you catch a bait fish in your hand or a fish spits it up, and then you get to see the actual colors of what a difference it is compared to what you see in pictures. Because in pictures, they take the picture or at a certain angle, and you might be missing half the colors in that bait fish or the sheen that goes to that bait fish, and then they're like, "Well, why are you tying a pink and white?" Well, because if you really look at the bait fish when it has its sheen and it does its little spurt in the water, you get that pink purple sheen to it, and that's why tying it pink. And most people don't think about it that way. They're like, "No, it's a white bait fish. Why wouldn't you just tie it white?" Well, white will work.
Well, there's more. there's more to it. Yeah, you know,
Uh,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there like that, like cool stuff to like different types of shiners and stuff. I mean, you could go on and on with every type of thing. I mean, you could do like sucker colors, whatever you want. But there's I mean, there's detail. I mean, I like detail. Like I like to add detail to stuff like that. I think that adds something to your flies. Um, if you, I mean, if everyone was just tying white, I mean, white is a good color. Don't get me wrong. You could probably throw just a white streamer with nothing else on and catch fish. But I like I like the detail. I think that adds something. I think that triggers something too. To if you add the detail and try to match exactly what you got there.
right, right. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna have to jump off for a second. I gotta say goodnight. The little man is going nuts. So,
Okay.
A wise captain once told me my first trip to Martha's Vineyard. I said, what colors and flies should I bring? He's like, bring whatever you want as long as it's about 6 inches and white.
Yeah. Well, he's
And
not.
it's boring, but like, you know, like you said, you like to add detail to it. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, that might even be just for me, or no, that we had detail, but um,
well, it's
I
in the
mean,
salt
I
water. In
yeah,
salt water, a lot of like George was saying, like bay anchovies, they all but like disappear in the water. Like when he
yeah,
was talking about holding it in your hand, yeah, I mean it looks to what it looks like to a human in the hand, whether
yeah,
you know, and when it's in the water with the light refraction from the sun, it almost disappears and all you see is the
yeah.
eyes, you know, maybe
Okay,
the belly sack. So
yeah,
it's really unique, you know, how the
yeah,
water clarity, the sunlight, and how bait fish change colors as well.
yes,
You know, so I guess that was my thing. You know, he said white. You know, if you have like opal flash or rainbow flash or
yeah,
whatever, that kind of emits all those types of shaded colors, pearls and
yeah,
blues and purples. That was the whole
yeah,
point of putting flash in a fly. Everything's white,
yeah,
and you have a couple strands of flash, and you have all your iridescence colors mixed in too.
yeah, yeah.
But it's boring.
what's boring? White and flash?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If I'm gonna do white, it's gonna be white, and it's gonna be boring. It's gonna be like a ghost. No sheen to it. That's it. Make it boring. Um, so what got you into like the dubbing? Like, why did you just leave fly tying and go to dubbing making?
You know what? It was funny because I ended up like starting making some uh I wanted some colors that I couldn't find out there or like some different blends. And when I first started, I started making like shorter stuff. It's maybe about an inch or something. Like everybody does. They get like a coffee grinder, they play around with stuff. And then I started making stuff that it wasn't out there. And I had like a handful. First started, I tried to sell some and I couldn't even give it away. Like, it's different now. I don't have a problem giving it away, you know. But I tried to do that, and then some guy, the there was a guy that had come to me and said, "Hey, could you make it like 3 inches?" So I made it longer. I made like a 4 inches. I said, "Yeah, I could probably do that." And at this time, it was like crude. Like the equipment I have now is like night and day from then. I couldn't, you know. So I made some stuff up, and the guy happened to send some over to the guys in Sweden there. He did like some kind of thing. He interviewed the one guy. He knew the one guy. He sent it to the one guy, and that one guy was friends with the owners of fly dressing, this Nicholas Bauer, and he liked it. And then I talked to them, negotiated with them, and it wasn't even like a week or so later. They gave me an order for like 2,400 bags, and at that time I wasn't even prepared. I was like hobby level. And I took the order. I took the order. I took the money, and I was like, "How the hell am I going to do this?" And then I figured out, and I've been like slowly, like it's night and day from when I first started. Like last year, I put like I bought like $4,000 worth of equipment last year not last year, year before, to actually be on like a more commercial level because on a hobby level, I like the equipment I had. Like I took it to the last like bit of life. Like it was like it should have been like retired before that, but I actually could justify at that point that I needed equipment like that because before it was like, all right, even now I'm still small. I can justify like better equipment, and then if I get bigger and bigger, I will justify bigger and better equipment, and hopefully some people to actually help me instead of being like the single mom, like I wash and I dry the dishes. But like, you know what I mean? Like on Super Troopers, he's like I wash and I dry the dishes. But not Super Troopers, Super Bad. It's right now. I try to get like, I try to like, I mean, I'm pretty quick with stuff, but like when I get like slammed with stuff, uh, people have to understand too. I'm not like a gigantic hairline right now. Um, I get stuff. I have to make everything, and once I make everything, then I have to put everything and lay everything out. Then I have to go back. I have to package everything. Then I have to ship everything. Now I try to get my kids to do that, and it's not like child labor because if you don't pay them anything, you can't call it child labor. So you know what I mean. But they'll help me sometimes. Sometimes if my wife is home, but she works too. She manages her store. But if she can help, or sometimes if I'm like really swamped, they'll help package stuff. But and it's great when they do and cut like a big portion out of like what I have to do, and it goes a lot smoother. But like I said, I got into it because of that, and the guy that actually got me introduced into those guys, the guy, um, he turned out to be I don't want to say he turned out to be a jackass. I don't deal with him anymore. He got me to deal with those guys, and then that was it. I don't, we don't, we don't, we don't deal with each other that much anymore. And it's not because of that. It's just because the guy, I don't know. I'm not bashing anybody. I just, certain people.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out. That's all.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it didn't work out. And it's I'm pretty easy going with. And if I'm telling you someone's a jackass, it's because they really are.
Yeah.
But I'm easy to get along with. Like if someone's like, I've never have any problems with basically anybody, or someone says, "Hey, can I get this or do this?" Yeah, I can help you out, man.
So
And I don't.
I want to say something. Can we do something with your label? Because I feel like we could make it more seller. Like if they like.
Yeah, it's that was like a basic thing. I need to upgrade that or update that somehow.
Make it like
because
sexy
I
to match the dubbing.
I know. My years ago when I first started tying flies, okay. My brother was helping me with stuff. Like he was doing stuff. I was doing stuff with him. He was like, uh, he was involved with me, and I was just basically tying flies. And he was like, "Hey, I need a label." And he's like, "Oh, here, I don't know where you steelhead or trout from." And I just never upgraded because I got busy. Then I ended up getting busier and busier. And it's like, it's not like, yeah, it's just like a plain thing. But I know what it needs. Like at one time I had like the D's nuts, the squirrel. It's the luminous. It's glow in the dark, and I have squirrel in there, and I called it D's nuts. And at one time I had like a label, and it was just like these two just acorns hanging down, and I was like, if I would do it today, I'd probably have like a squirrel on the inside of your thigh, like with its hands out, like reaching up. But I don't know. I don't know. See, I'm not the artist. Okay, I know people that are. So, and maybe I should like look into doing something.
Yeah,
Or at least upgrading it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it is, because your stuff is so good, and I think if like a basic shop brings it in and nobody really knows about it, and you have a new guy in the shop that's kind of like running the store, and the guy walks up to that dubbing, he's gonna be like, "Oh, that's nice dubbing," but he might not like, it's
Yeah, I know what you mean.
perception of labels. I
Yeah.
think,
I get it. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like hairline,
Yes, I
they redid their logo, and it's like more people buy it because of their fucking logo. They don't buy it because they need it. They buy it because of the logo, and then
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I know.
then they have 14 calf tails sitting on their table like I do, and they're not being used just because of the
Yeah.
fucking new logo that they came out with. I was
The
like,
new
well,
logo. Yeah,
oh, let me
I
get
saw their
four
logo.
more. So
Yeah, their logo.
it's
Yeah,
attractive.
but it's I get it. Yeah. Like I told you, I have an idea I want to do for like a sticker, and I might do it or eventually or shirt, and I always say like the thing like the know your worth. I wanted like a steelhead with like all kinds of glow bugs just like littered into its back, and just put know your worth on
Yeah,
there.
there you go. I mean, that would be a great sticker, a T-shirt. But I think your merch, with the amount of people that you have buying from you,
Yeah,
don't undersell yourself. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Because you are
yeah.
worth more, and I think your posts are sometimes so fucking funny because you put like the Darth Vader and fucking whatever dubbing in there, and they're so
Oh yeah,
creative.
yeah. I've done that before. I had the one time. My kids got like this whatever with the Mandalorian. We were watching it, and they had the baby Yoda that you squeeze it and it makes that sound or whatever. And I was sitting there and they were playing with it. I was like, "Hey, give me that a second." And I had the dubbing, and I was like moving its hand. And I was pushing that, and the one guy goes, "What the hell is this? Is this like a?" He goes on. He goes, "It sounds like." Something. I was like, no, it's Baby Yoda. What's wrong with you? But
Uh,
um, no, I do that sometimes. Or there'll be like something, and I'll grab something and I'll throw it in with the dubbing or whatever. Like um, I did like gift cards the last time, and I just added an option on the website. You could do gift cards, and I said, oh, I'll offer them. So I put like, so when they see them, they're not like physical gift cards because it's like digital stuff, but it's like Chuck Norris, and I don't know if that's from like Invasion USA or whatever, and where he's holding two guns, but it's bags of dubbing, and I mean it's like really like corny looking, but like that's what you see when you order it, like Chuck Norris like sweating and holding like two bags of dubbing like in there,
well,
and
that's
like I try to
what
add like some kind of I
I,
try to add some funny shit to it, you know.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. So, like, you got the creative side behind you, the names, the little memes that you create. Did you create a sticker with something like that for a sale? Your
Oh
merch
yeah.
or whatever, your dubbing, I think your sales would go through the roof. Not that I'm a fucking marketing genius or
Yeah.
anything, but
Yeah.
I
No,
did.
I'm not. If I was a marketing genius, I wouldn't probably be doing this.
Then you'd be just kicking it back, and you wouldn't be on here. You'd just be like, let me get so and so take care of this interview. But
Yeah, yeah.
uh, it, the stuff is just unbelievable. Like when I tie these patterns, and people say, "Well, it's dubbing. It's gonna be heavy like a sock. It's gonna be so hard to cast," and it really isn't because it absorbs enough water to where it pushes the water in,
Yeah.
and does the bulkhead feel to a fly or like
Yeah.
a Buford type of thing on a small level. But then again, it keeps its shape pretty good
Yeah.
underwater. And then when you take it out, obviously, whenever something's wet, it's gonna get all fucking fucked up. But
Oh yeah.
when it's just in the water swimming,
Yeah.
there's so much movement to it. It stays the same profile. It's super duper cool, and people just they're like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So like when at the shows when I had my swim tank in the front and I had
Yeah.
my little BS in the front, uh,
Yeah.
and they see it swimming, they're like, "What is that for the head? What did you use? Is that laser dub?" I said, "No, it's not laser dub. Laser dub is too short. This stuff is long." And they're like, "Oh man, that stuff looks so good. Look at it all move. It's like and it moves with the marabou. It's got such movement." They're like, they can't believe it. So, um, I think a lot of materials are completely overrated to a certain
Yeah.
extent, and then when you actually see them moving, people don't realize how much materials move in the water when you're stripping a fly or
Yeah.
when you
Oh yeah.
pause the
Yeah.
fly. Um, they just
Yeah.
they see it in a video on YouTube and they're like, okay, yeah, this one has to go in there, but they don't think, oh, let me try to substitute it with this. Um,
Yeah.
Main reason why I started using dubbing was because I hate tying with deer hair. Like I hate trimming
Oh
deer
yeah,
hair with a razor.
I think that's what everybody does.
I absolutely hate trimming deer hair with a razor. So I said, fuck this shit. I'm not going to be using that. And I hate using sculpin because I hate trimming it. You know, when you
Yeah.
use not sculpin, what's the ram's wool? You got to trim it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to deal with that. I'm like, let me just throw some dubbing on there and see what happens. So I did like the small dubbing. Then I went to something a little longer. I tried to extend it, but then it was pulling out. Um, and then I saw somebody tying with the longer stuff, and I said, let me try that shit. And I tried it, and I loved it. And then I came across yours through Dave, and I was like, forget about it. It's over. And pretty much that's all I use now. So it's like phenomenal.
Well, yeah, that what I like to hear.
Aaron,
You know that.
you have a
Yes, go ahead.
storefront? I keep
Yes, I
hearing
do.
a store.
Yeah. Well, I have online. I do. Everything is online. I don't have like a physical like
Okay.
location. It's everything is shipped. Whether I do wholesale, like I do a lot. I do the shops too. Like any shops that have come to me, I there's a handful in the United States still. I have some distribution in Canada, and then over in Sweden they distribute it all over Europe, but they put that under their name, which they don't know me over there. So what do I care? You know what I'm saying? But the web shop is AmericanTideFlies.com.
Yep.
That's basically mostly dubbing and stuff, and I mean it's mostly materials now. It started out, it was mostly flies, and I've had people tell me, oh, the one guy I know, the one shop I deal with, said you should change it to something, to reflect more materials, because I do very little flies now. Um, it's not just because I don't want to. I don't have time. It's like years ago I dabbled in like doing like building some rods. I built a couple rods for myself and that, and then I realized like you can be really good in one thing. You can do a bunch of things mediocre, or you can do
Right.
one thing really well. And I started with the materials. I started doing that, and I focused more on that because everybody. And here's the no bullshit thing. Everybody needs materials. Not everybody needs flies. And the cutthroat. I mean, and here's the thing. This is real talk here. I sell to the good, the bad, and the ugly because everybody needs material. Um, there's guys out there that'll cut. They're cutthroat. They're like, oh, I'll cut this guy. I'll sell this and this and that. But guess what? They all need materials, and it's just
Yep.
supply and demand. So, and it's not like I don't have anything against it. It's just, that's where I fell in. I like to tie flies, but I found a niche where I'm at. Like that's what I do. I'm gonna do materials, and I'm gonna make better materials. And I'm even like, it's funny. I'll walk into like a store, and this might seem weird. Like I'll see something and I'll touch it. I'm like, oh, that feels nice. What is that? And then I'll like, even if it's like some kind of clothing or not, I'll like read the list of what's on there. I might not be buying stuff like that, but if I say, oh, okay, I wonder if I could mix some of this stuff with some of this stuff and get a reaction or something like a product that would do this. And like I've touched so many things now, and that like that's how I start out like with stuff. I figure stuff out. Just like the carnivore dub, it was like I wanted a more water thing, and I had I had like racked my brains with Rich Strollis for a little bit about some stuff, and then I kind of had an idea what materials I wanted to put in that. That's like a combination of three materials, and it's actually more water resistant, and it sheds water really easy, but it's a long stuff. So I had an idea. I brainstormed with some stuff, and then I come up with the final thing that actually you know did what I wanted it to do. So there's like thought process into it. I know like a lot of people, if you see them, they're like, oh, I just mixed some stuff together. I actually put a thought process into like what fibers, what things go into what to create what effect in the end. It's not just like me, just like, oh, I'll just mix this together and put a flashy name on it and say, oh, someone was going to buy it. You know, I want it to actually do what I said it does. You know, I don't want it to just exist and it totally doesn't do that
Right,
shit.
right, right. Yeah, no, that's why the garbage pickle's carnival, ain't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I tie the peanut bunker with it because it does like shed water, and you could feel it. It's almost like it's a whole nother feel to it when you put it down. It's not as
Yeah,
smooth as like your regular Magnum.
yeah, it's a different feel, and it's almost like you use less
Yes.
with it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's less is more with that because you're getting like less is more, you know, and you're getting the water shedding effect. You're getting um, you're actually your stuff is stretched. Your materials you're actually saving because you're using less material and you're still getting like the outcome you want.
Yeah. What colors do you have, Joe? Do you still have the website up?
Yeah.
What colors does he have in carnivore?
So the purple stuff carnivore, which I like. Rojo special carnivore. It's
Rojo
like
Especial.
Rojo especially.
What is that? What
Rojo
color?
Especial. You
It's
know
a
what? That was I like Clint Eastwood movies. And was it the Fistful of Dollars or a few dollars more? And he's fighting with the Rojos. So I was like Rojo Especial.
Oh, what
The
color is
Rojo
that?
Especial.
It's like
It's like a red.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's some red and white mixed together.
Yeah.
Give it
Slimmer carnivore.
colors.
Yeah, like the Slimer, like
Slimmer's
the Ghostbusters.
yeah, it's like
Okay, so it's like that
It's like
greeny,
almost like a
like a chartreuse
yeah.
almost.
like a short.
Okay, like a dull chartreuse. Okay.
well, this one's cool.
Yeah,
Pimp's
it's like
Heart.
the dollar chartreuse. Yeah, the Pimp's Heart. It's just black. It's dark black.
Oh.
It all has flash in it.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of flash in it, but it's just I tried to make it like as black as their soul, a pimp's soul.
Jawa carnivore. It's like a polar bear color.
Oh, I like
The-
that. Like the
Yeah.
like
Jawa,
a light
the
brine.
The like the Jawa, the Star Wars Sand people.
Okay. Okay.
What's this? Mullet. Dehe Man.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
man.
mullet day he man.
Hey, man.
The mullet day he man.
That's like I guess a yellowish color too.
Yeah, it's like a yellow, like a more like a brighter yellow kind of.
George's favorite garbage pickle.
I love garbage.
The garbage pickle,
It's the
yes.
best.
Burnt sienna. That's like looks like kind of moldy.
That's like
color.
that's a Bob Ross reference. He always used burnt sienna when he's making his little
Brown.
landscapes.
Yeah, it's tan brown.
Yeah,
Money maker. It's like cotton candy sorta.
yeah, it's like a cotton candy color basically. That one.
Yeti. How'd you come up with that name? I guess because it's like Snow White.
Snow White.
Dirty Crawl. That's a great color for crayfish, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I like that one a
Yeah.
lot. Yes,
That looks. It's the kind of orangey.
orangey with with the black, like a kind of dirty color. Yeah.
Dark tan, brownish, orangey.
Yes, yes.
Some black in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Baitfish carnivore. It looks like black and white.
There's like it's hard to tell up close. There's like three or
Yeah.
four colors in that, and it's like it's hard to describe. You have to actually hold it. It's I don't even know. It's like black. It's got like it's almost like a white. I'm trying to think what it is. There's a few different colors, and there's some subtle stuff in there too. Like when you're holding it, it's kind of like it reminds me of like a bait fishy color.
What's
I'm gonna have to get me some of
bait fishy color, and it's like a white with like a little black.
Well, it's
It's hard to
trying
tell
to
by
think
the
what the hell-
picture.
well, it's like got like
Oh, it's
Okay,
like
so it's
maybe
got black.
gray.
it's got black and it's got a little bit like white in it, and it's got some hints of. I'm trying to think what else. So the red and then like a dark blue. The dark blue kind of blends with the black, but if you get like up close, there's like a almost like a blue in there, like
Okay, so
a
you're
Canadian
getting
tuxedo.
you're getting.
Canadian tuxedo there.
um, um, have you what the fuck? I lost my train of thought with that Canadian tuxedo. I started thinking of a
It's
guy from
Dan and
another
Dan
pod.
there, Canadian.
Right. Well, Aaron, is your shop in your house?
Yeah, I have a basement work area right now. That's what I do. I have like
What
uh
what kind of equipment
and
do you
it's
have
funny, the
that has
shop
to deal with this?
uh
The
basically it's
shop.
like I'm like a fiber mill. I process fibers almost like a fiber mill right now.
Oh, okay.
And that's just, um and it's a lot of blending and stuff like that. Um if you go to like a fiber mill or something like that, how they blend certain things together. I mean, I have equipment type like that, but I have like commercial grade stuff now. Um, where before it was like hobby level, and even like how I could treat it almost like commercial tying too. Um, I do like steps. Even how I have my shop set up, like my work area, I have it like set up like a U. I have my main thing. I can stand in the center. I can go like this way, this way. I don't have to take too many steps. And you would think, just like commercial, if I have to set my scissors down, I have to move this way, I have to do this. That all takes time. I have it set up almost like in a U shape where I have my main central stuff, what I'm doing. I have everything within reach. I don't want to be walking across here to get this, walking over here to get this. I want everything within reach because that cuts down time. You wouldn't think of it, but you walk so many things over this way, it adds time. It adds time, and especially if like right now I'm working on like a 1,700 bag order of stuff that's going overseas. Um, it all takes time, and if you can cut something out somewhere like this, then the key is to cut it out and not lose quality. To keep a high enough grade quality where you're not losing that, and you want speed. So I'm constantly like seeing what I can do better. Like what if I can do this or I can do this, maybe I can cut this down time a little bit, but does it cut into like the quality of what I'm doing? And I mean it's a process. Like from where I started to now is night and day, but I still constantly look at all that stuff because I want to keep improving and I want to make stuff faster. I want stuff to be more streamlined. It's there's a lot of thought that goes into it that I put into it. I don't know if I put too much into it, but like I put a lot of thought into what I'm doing and seeing, hey, maybe if I do this or I try this way this time, maybe I can cut some time off and still get the quality of stuff that I want to do. I don't ever want the quality to drop. I don't want to go like just like I'm just throwing stuff out the door and the quality drops drastically. I want to keep an even balance.
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you mean. It makes sense. That's what makes big businesses successful. So, now when you say you got the machines to do it and it's like a mill, what is that like? Is it like a big mixer or is it like I'm thinking
No,
like
no,
the cotton
it's
shit, like when they used to make the cotton? I'm
yeah,
thinking
it's kind of like it's got a lot of stuff that has teeth, okay?
okay.
And they come together and fibers get blended together and things it's stuff like that. If you look up like a fiber mill, you'll be able to see like what they do, how they process things. Um, it's a lot of stuff too. Even with equipment, there's a lot of prep work. I have a lot of prep work where I'm not just grabbing stuff and just tossing stuff in and it just pops out. I have a lot of prep work, a lot of stuff. Certain things that I dye, certain things I add to stuff. It's there's a lot more work that goes into it. It's not me just saying, "Oh, here's the magic," and I just toss a bucket of something into bin and it
Sure.
just pops out dubbing,
No, it
But
doesn't do that. It doesn't work like that.
I wish it did. I wish it did. That way, I mean, I could just drink beer. I could just drink beer and be like, oh, make it like a genie. You know what? It's funny when I was thinking that one of the shows I did down in Pittsburgh years ago when I first started doing this, and I started selling dubbing, and it wasn't the long stuff. It was like maybe an inch or something. And the guy goes, and it was magic dubbing. He goes, "What makes this magic?" And I told him, I was like, I sitting there, and I'm like, I said, if you buy a bag, I said you rub it. I said, genie comes out and grants you a wish. He goes, well, I need to buy a bag. I said, yeah, you do. You know, I just was busting balls with the guy. The guy I bought a bunch of stuff, but like that was like the very beginnings. Like when I had taken a little bit, it was mostly flies. It was like mostly steelhead and trout stuff that I had taken. Some small streamers, and a lot of stuff that was like combined, like two flies in one and whatever else. But and then there was a little bit of dubbing, and it wasn't even a lot ton of colors. It was like just to test it out. I sold at that time. I would sell actually materials,
Right.
and it changed. It changed from me going to like flies to mostly materials now.
It's good. Cam's asking when you're based. I believe you're in Newcastle, right?
Yes, I'm in
New-
Newcastle.
Newcastle, PA.
Yep, yep,
Yeah. It's way up there. Way up there.
yep.
What are you? What, an hour and a half to Erie?
Yeah, about an hour and a half north of me, this Erie. And like I said, I like to go up there. Like I haven't gone up as much, but like right now, I mean, if you look online, everybody blows everything up. Like someone catches one fish, and there's like guys posting on there, and there's 500 guys up there. It's changed a lot. I still like to go up and do it, but if I go up to fish for like steelhead, I like to take a handful of guys with me because I do like when we used to go up to New York. I'll take a handful of guys. We'll just lock up a section. You know what I mean? You get guys right next to you, and that's how you have to fish it. And it's not like, I mean, if you go with one guy, you got guys like in your back. Like a handful of guys, you can spread out, and the guys next to you know, the guy next to you know. But I still like to do that. I don't get to do it as often. Um, and I like to go up in the spring. I mean, they have a phenomenal smallmouth fishery up there. That's probably one of the best in the country, I would say, for like big smallmouth. And they'll run into the bays, and then and right after steelhead are done actually, and then there's certain sections of creek up there that they'll run so far up, and it's amazing when you go up there. I mean, it's nothing to catch a 5 or 6 pound smallmouth out of one of the creeks or the things there. I mean, there's smallmouth right here by me, but there's not like that caliber. I mean, I've caught like 4 pound smallmouth around me, but like you can go up there and you can catch like beasts.
Well,
You know what I
they're
mean?
coming out of the Great Lakes, so they're feeding
Yeah, that's.
good.
I mean, they got a lot of forage there. They got a lot of food and they got a lot of stuff, and it's just fun. It's fun, but and that's when I get up there. When I get a chance to get up there, I can do. My father was just saying yesterday. He goes, "Hey, you tie some stuff up. We're gonna go." And I'm like slammed with stuff. I told him, yeah, if I get a chance. So hopefully tie some stuff up, and I'll get up there some this fall and to at least a little bit of fishing because it's nice to do that and take a break from just like making dubbing and all the other stuff. It's nice to actually get out and use some stuff.
Yeah, so if I want to know the river flows or how if the creeks are coming up or coming down, I could just reach out to you. You'll probably be able to tell me
Yeah,
faster than a
you know
website
what's
will.
funny too is I know a bunch of guys that are up there, and then that's what I do to them. I reach out to guys that I know
Yeah.
that I'm friends with that are up there, and I'm like, hey, what's going on with the things? Oh, hey, yeah, this is this here. Are you gonna come up? Um, so it's not like a secret. I'm not like magic. I know guys that are up there that I reach out to, and they let me know what's going on. So,
My
and
buddy,
yeah, go ahead.
my buddy and his father used to fish that fishery a lot, like a lot.
Yeah,
And this was back in the early '90s. I mean, he was like 18, and he would bump a line and just fucking take it right after work and go all the way out there on one line. if you know what I mean. He'd make it
Yeah.
all the way out there, and and it was phenomenal. Like he's got pictures that he showed me of some of the steelhead that were coming into the creek. So I was like, Jesus.
Oh yeah,
And
there's
he'd be like, dude, I would get like 100 within like 3 hours, and I would say, fuck
yeah.
this, let's go back to the hotel now, because I would get a little bored. But then there'd be days where we would drive the 8 hours out there, and we get out
Yeah.
there and there's no fucking water in the creek.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the gamble too. If there's no water in the creek, I mean, you're just like, I mean, I don't like fishing that. I like the ideal thing if you can get it is it's up a little bit and it's got like that stained almost like greenish tint where they can see but they can't see that much and they have to make a decision if stuff's coming by their face they're either going to eat it or it's going to go by if and they can't really see you. That's the ideal the conditions for that up there. That low stuff, I don't like that. The guys go up and they can see them. They're looking at each other. The steelhead are staring at them. They're staring at the steelhead, and they're in a hole there.
Yeah.
You know, they're holding hands with each other.
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to go up a lot, and when I was younger, I used to go up on like a whim. My phone would be like, "Hey, you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll go." I went one time in a snowstorm. We drove up. It was so cold. There was nobody around. There's a light pole up there. We went up to the one marina. And the light pole was going back and forth. It was blowing so hard, and it was you couldn't even take your hands out of your pockets for like a minute and tie something on. Your fingers felt like they're gonna fall off. And so we're sitting there, and my phone stands up, and he had a chair because it was at night. We were gonna fish through the night into the morning and see what we were gonna do. And the wind blows the chair, one of those chairs that goes into the marina, into the water, and it's gone. I could either grab his chair or the bag, so I grabbed his bag with all his gear in it, and it goes in the thing. He was trying to snag it. I don't know what the chair is. It's probably still in there somewhere. So some guy comes from the bar. The guy was drunk. The guy was drunk. Comes because he sees a car parked there, and he pulls up and he goes, "Hey, you guys doing good?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "We set the pole down, and the guy, damn steelhead, ripped the chair into the water. It's over there somewhere." And the guy's like, "Oh man!" And he's getting in his trunk, getting all his stuff, and he goes and casts like 3 times, and he goes, "Oh." He goes, "Man, you guys are hardcore," and he like put his stuff away and left. And then I went and turned I turned the heater on, and we went and slept in the car until the morning. And then we went and found somewhere where it was like a windbreak, and it wasn't any warmer. But it was, since there was no wind, it felt like it was like a summer day.
Yeah.
But I went and slept. After the guy left, we went and turned the heat thing on. I went and slept in the car. I said, "The hell with this." I said, "We'll find somewhere in the morning."
The Great Lakes are no fun when that wind comes off of them.
It's cold. It cuts through you,
brutal.
man.
And my buddy was telling me the one time they went there, and he was young. Maybe he was like 13, 14. His father drove him out there, and they're fishing, and it's freaking cold. It's like negative 25, cold, windy. He's I could barely feel my fingers, and his hands never get cold. And he tripped over a rock and went hands first. So you've seen, what's that movie with Adam Sandler, where they're all friends and they play basketball, and the guy's got his arms and he's a full body cast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So when he came out of that water, his jacket completely frozen because he went head first, and he was like this all the way back to the truck because it was completely frozen. As soon as he pulled his hands out, everything just froze.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Dude, it was the worst thing ever." By the time I walked to the truck, I was so like I couldn't feel my hands. He's like, my hands were turning purple. I thought I was getting frostbite, and my brother had to assist me to take the jacket off. He goes, "That was the coldest I've ever been in my life, and I never want to experience that again." So, up there, the winters are brutal.
No joke.
They're brutal up there.
I'd rather fish when it's 100 degrees out in the Keys.
Oh, listen, and anybody would rather fish in.
Oh yeah.
100-degree weather.
Yeah, the hell with that anymore. Like I said, I used to work for the state here, and we went the one time. My father-in-law was like, "Hey, let's go up. We'll leave early in the morning, or you have to go to work, and you just go there." So I was like, "Okay." So we went up. We were gonna fish through the night. I was just gonna go home and then hurry up and jump in the thing and go to work. And he goes, "Oh man, the night wasn't that good." He goes, "I think the morning's gonna be good." And it sounded like I was in a wind tunnel. I called like my workplace. I was like, "Hey man, I'm sick," and it's not. I couldn't get anywhere else, and it was like a goddamn wind tunnel. It was just like going crazy. He goes, "Yeah, you're sick," and I was like, "I'm sick." And then we went the next day. We didn't do anything. I waited. I should have just went to work.
Yeah, you would have made more money instead of just.
I would have made
wasting
more
mo-
money. I would.
So we're gonna take it to the after hours. We've
Okay.
been kicking it for about an hour and 10 minutes now, so we'll take
Okay.
it to the after hours, guys. If you guys want to see the rest of this podcast, just head over to Apple Podcast or check it out on Spotify tomorrow. It'll be probably uploaded by about noon tomorrow if everything goes well. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and we'll see you guys next week. I think we have Midwest Bucktails is coming on, so our other sponsor's gonna give us a little discussion. If you guys want to see anybody you want to see, Aaron, if you got any suggestions that anybody we should bring on, the suggestions are welcome, and you could get this.
Okay.
Just shoot us a DM at Device, and
Okay.
we'll get people together. But we're gonna head over to after hours. So guys on YouTube, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
And we are off.